Is it possible for you to use the microphone?
It's not a secret.
They have to stand up so we can help in the dark long enough.
When school districts want more money, they go public and ask taxpayers for it. Not this time. The Oceana Intermediate School District on the west side of the state did it by merging with its bigger neighbor, Mason Lake. Oceana will now have to pay the higher millage rate assessed in Mason Lake. The cost to Oceana District taxpayers at least $1 million a year. The Oceana ISD bypassed voters by using a little-known Michigan law for ISDs with fewer than 5 school districts. The ISD board could seek merger approval through a public vote or make the decision on its own.
Well, there's only one reason why you don't go to a vote, and that's because you don't think it's going to pass.
Worse, taxpayers don't get to choose those ISD board members directly. They are elected by the individual school boards in the district, a surprise to many.
We ought to have a voice in it. If it's our kids and our money, I think we ought to have a voice in it.
Why the Oceana ISD board would agree to a deal that would cost its taxpayers more money may have more to do with the individual districts than the ISD as a whole. 2 of the 3 districts, Walkerville and Shelby, are losing students and having a tough time balancing their budgets.
At the local Shelby meeting about a month ago, the president stated that they needed the money and they need it now.
Under the merger, the ISD will now be able to redistribute the tax hike to those struggling districts or where it sees fit.
This is about money. And this is these people right here, 5 people, taking $1 million out of Oceana County and shipping it to Mason County.
The plan to work together is not new. 8 years ago, the 2 ISDs agreed to share a superintendent. At the time, officials said the arrangement would not be a merger and would not impact taxing in separate districts. The districts then started to combine staff. Instead of saving money, it ended up costing more than $103,000 a year more. The Oceana ISD employees now had to be absorbed into the higher-paying union contract in Mason Lake. 2 Oceana workers got raises of about $13,000 a year. As attractive as that sounds, Oceana workers were not happy.
I knew all the kids in the buildings that had issues because I was in there. I was in those buildings. I was working with those teachers. I was working with those principals. Once we got big, I was spending all my time in meetings and budget things.
Last year, the Walkerville and Shelby school boards, both in the Oceana ISD, wanted to put the idea of a merger to a public vote. The Hart School District knew a merger would cost more money and thought a vote for a bigger ISD was premature.
I just haven't ever seen that organization cut expenses.
The Oceana ISD board decided not to wait for a vote. The law did require a public hearing at least, one that was held the night the merger was to become a done deal.
You've been talking about this merger for years. There should have been proper planning, and you should have informed the public, and it should be put to a vote.
Can you explain the process for vote, and when's the vote take place? Does it take place tonight? Well, you're not going to respond to the question?
Later, Oceana ISD board member Rick Hodges defended his decision to bypass voters and approve the merger.
We weren't comfortable taking this to the public without an understanding from the Hart District where we were coming from.
Hodges says Oceana will now have more money for special ed and career technical training for non-college bound students. Critical areas, he says, in a tough economy. But are they?
It's really an opportunity to play on people's emotions in order to get money that they probably already have.
The Mackinac Center has promoted several cost-saving moves, such as privatizing non-education services and bringing employee pay and benefits in line with the private sector.
All of these would have allowed them to save money without doing an end run around the taxpayers.
There are now 8 ISDs in Michigan with fewer than 5 districts. Each can disorganize and merge for more money without taxpayer approval.